Hi everyone, it's Clara with Card Stamping with Clara, coming to you this afternoon from North Carolina. I hope everybody's doing well and has had some good days over the weekend and what have you. Today I wanted to bring to your attention that celebration is in full swing, and the catalog for the celebration items is on my website, Card Stamping with Clara, and also the mini catalog is on my website. So you can check out what we have there, and maybe you would need something and could get a free product out of the celebration catalog. Everybody loves celebration because it means a free gift. Today I want to talk about the Frosted Ginger Bundle mostly, and I'm going to show you the card we're going to make first, and then we'll get to it here. If you don't mind, please push the subscribe button. That really helps me, and it will enable you to know when I put a new video up, and you can see what I've been doing if you're interested. Okay, let me show you the card. I'm calling this one the Twin Bell Christmas card. As you can see, I've got two little bells here. I've got some mini real red ruffled ribbon, and then on the inside I have got a sentiment from the sparkle of the season. May the sparkle of this season warm your heart and home. This is done in real red and old olive, and we have a pack of paper that coordinates with this stamp set or bundle, the Frosted Gingerbread pack. So I'm going to set this one over, and I'll show you what's in this set of dies and stamps that we have here. The first thing I'll show you is the Frosted Gingerbread stamps. And I tried to use pretty much everything that was in this stamp set. I really like it. I love the bells, the snowflake, wishing you a Merry Christmas. You're the icing to my gingerbread. Happy holidays. And then this is a real pretty stamped border, if you would like to use that. These are photopolymer stamps, and you can see I have been using my photopolymer stamps. So that's the stamp, and then the dies that come in this bundle, and I'm going to show you, I'll show you from the back side first. It cuts out the bell and the pretty designs, and then you can just cut out a plain bell if you want to. The same holds true with the snowflake, the star. You can cut out some little peppermint type designs, and you can stamp and cut out circles of where you've stamped. And then on the other one, I use the bell is the one I used, and then I also use this border stamp, which I like a lot. So it makes it real pretty and dresses up your card. So that's the basic stamp set that we're using. Stamp and die bundle, excuse me. And like I said, I used these little stars for an inside accent, and I also used the sentiment in a lot of these cards because I just wasn't sure there was enough in the one bundle to put something on the inside, and I wanted to put something on the inside. So not a lot of stamps and bundles and the like, but those come in really handy. That extra one did. Okay, the second card I did, and as you can see, I think I've got more cards this week than I had last week. I just kept making cards, and they all kept turning out a little bit different. This one, all of these except two. All except two. The paper came from the gingerbread and peppermint pack. So this one says sending you peppermint kisses, and I used some of that red ruffle ribbon and made a sort of a a triple ribbon, I guess I'd call it. Put on this one. And got the same sentiment on the inside, but if you can see, we've got some little peppermints down in the bottom of that one. This one is made using the folder, that the embossing folder. I'll show you, and I was a little surprised about this one, so I want to show you so you don't get a surprise too. I had anticipated it being two small folders instead of one that had both stars and checks on it. So you can see that it's split like this. So I wanted you to know that if you decide that you need some stars or some squares to, embossed on a sheet of paper, that it's split. But what you can do is what I did with this one. If you'll look, I did two pieces of paper, one in old olive, one in real red. And then I split them and put the two together that were of opposite colors. And they've got both. I mean, I could have done it all in green for that matter, or old olive. But, I decided I wanted one of each. And then I put the real red around the border. This die came out of the ornate layering dies, and I use this one a lot. It just makes a really nice label to go all the way across your card so that you can accent something. These, I cut this bulb and this ornament out of the paper. Then I stamped this one, and I used it as something that I could put my sentiment on, as you can see, wishing you a Merry Christmas. And I also lifted it up on dimensionals. But so that's kind of the combining of stamping and, the die cut that perfectly out of the paper that is in this pack. So that's one that was done a little different. This is the one, you're the icing to my gingerbread. And basically what I did was I used cherry cobbler as my border color, and this ribbon is cherry cobbler with gold, and this layer is the sparkle paper that is free when you do a $50 order with Celebration. It's in the Celebration catalog. And I borrowed the Merry Christmas, I believe, from that set, Sparkle of the Season, for the inside. So that one's a little bit different. This one, I stamped two of the ornaments, the bell and the rounded ornament, and punched a little hole in the top of them and tied that little piece of baker's twine and put the wishing you a Merry Christmas on one of the layering circles. And as you can see, I used this again, and a different kind of paper from the same pack, and real red as a border. So what I'm attempting to do is to do as many out of the same pack, the same suite, as I can, so that, you get the idea that you can have a lot of different kinds of cards from the same, like one pack of paper. And this one, even though it's not used with the paper is not used from this pack. It's just plain old Night of Navy. I put some gold foil underneath. I embossed the wishing you a Merry Christmas and put some of the little gems on it that we have for sale. And used the vanilla, very vanilla paper and the Night of Navy. So that one gave it a little bit different look altogether than the others with the ornaments. Oh, this one has got a different sheet of paper too. I might have to change that number when I was counting a minute ago. This came from Playful Penguins paper that is, I believe it's free in the Celebration catalog too. I hope I'm not telling you wrong about that. But I took a piece of that and I cut out 4 of the snowflakes and removed all the negative pieces, I guess you'd say, and then I glued them back in so that they were just above this Misty Moonlight paper, and used the Happy Holidays as a sentiment and the same one on the inside. So that is another different look. Now this one, the paper did come out of the same pack. I used some of the old olive ribbon that I had in this double pack. It's old olive and I don't know if it's Cajun Craze or what, but there's another color with it. And it's on the clearance rack right now. So I had some from where I bought it earlier, but I like this old olive with this particular design. I used a banner punch that I had. And the banner punch, the triple banner punch may not be available yet, but if you will cut across your banner and do a little nip right in the center and then cut towards it to make this little, I guess they call it a fishtail or something, but you can make a banner without it. I just happened to have it and used what I had. So that's another one I hope you might find interesting. This one is done in the evergreen color, one of the new colors, evening evergreen, and I accented it with red. I put some of this silver, I don't know if it's called twine, I believe, but you can get silver and gold in the same pack, and I just set it back in and glued it in and did pretty much the same thing as I did with the snowflakes, but I guess it's a little bit of trouble, but I like to take out the negative pieces and then put it over a solid piece. And, you know, just if you got two very distinct colors, one will highlight or show off the other one, I think. So, and the last one. This was done out of the Simply Elegant pack of paper. And so I chose it because it had a lot of gold on it. It was sort of simplistic. And I put gold foil underneath. And I also put a tiny little border of black to pick up the accents here. And this is one of the borders that I stamped and I also embossed. And I put Happy Holidays and made it appear that the star was hanging from the border. So, and I also used black on the inside. And this too was done on very vanilla instead of the basic white. All right, let's see if we can get this card made. I don't think it's going to be all that complicated, but I'll show you how I did it. I'm going to be known by my goodie bag here, I guess. I have two borders cut out of the real red. I have a tiny, tiny little piece of the black glitter paper that I'm going to use to basically hang the, or to appear to hang the bells by. I went ahead and tied two ribbons. Sometimes I have to redo these, so you don't want to watch me do all that, but I have two ribbons here. And I also, I don't want to lose my other piece here now. I hope I haven't. There it is. All right. You always start with that basic size 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And if you know me, I go ahead and I glue in the inside, because if you can glue on the outside, you can glue in the inside. You don't need to watch me do that. So there's the base. I also have a 3 3/4 by 5 piece of old olive. I have a 3 3/4 by 5 of the polka dot paper that came out of that pack, and then there's another design that looks like icing on the back, but I like this side. Then there is a sheet of, or a piece of real red that's 4 by 5 1/4. Then I have a piece that's 2 3/8 by 6 for the back of the envelope. And that's all we have to do is put it together now. One thing I will show you about cutting out these bells is I'm going to pull this out of the pack so you'll be able to see. When I cut the bell out, I only used this outer part right here. And I wanted to show you this. I'll take it apart in just a second. But when you tape them together with a little Post-it tape or something, and you put this on a piece of cardstock, you can get a piece like this, which is going to make the border. Maybe if I don't fling it somewhere, the border to go around the bell to dress it up. Now, of course, the inside was cut out with all the different designs, and you can use that for something else. But when you're cutting the bell itself out of this, then you only use that part of the die. And you can cut out pieces by themselves using this part of the die. But when you put them together, just be sure that you balance the distance all the way around, and then you'll get a nice even border. So that's the only thing that I needed to show you about that. You just lay this piece down on your cardstock and run it through, and then lay this piece down and run it through. And I just eyeball these, and I think that they're pretty balanced. So, you know, you can balance them with your eye. I don't measure, so I doubt that you will need to. But I wanted to just show you how I got these. That was the main objective here. All right. Now then, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue this piece of old olive to the DSP. Now, don't try to put the glue on this piece, or you'll have it in this area. And you don't want it in that area, not now anyway. Well, you don't want it at all with this one. Let me back up on that, because that is going to be your bell. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue all the way around. And I have learned not to glob glue on. I wouldn't say that, maybe glob is not the word that I used to do, but like I said, I found that it can make your cardstock get really thick and kind of hard, and your card is not as nice then. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting a little bit around the bell openings and around the edges of the card. And I will lay this down and see if I can get these, as one lady said, married. But this one is pretty easy because these are the same. We're not trying to make a border around it right now. So this is the easy part. You just have to make sure they're cut the same size. All right. Voila, you got bells. Now what we're going to do, and I don't know that you have to do this exactly. I mean, I could glue this to this and it wouldn't cause any problems, but I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto the bell to make the border. Now, something you do need to be mindful of is just dab. Don't squeeze your glue bottle. Just dab. There'll be enough right at the end. If it starts to run thin, you can maybe push it a teeny bit, but you do not want a lot of glue on this because it will just gush out. All you want is enough to hold it. And as you can see, that's just a little bit. I hope I'm where I'm supposed to be. All right. And this fell right down into the groove. Now, I will tell you this. This one, they're sitting up on top of the old olive. This one, it's sitting in a groove right to the edge of the old olive. And the difference, and why they're different, is because of the way that I cut them out. If I had used, I think I had used the entire thing to cut out the first opening on this card, or this one, and this one I did not. And the border will be different if you do that. You'll just have to see which way suits you better. And I'll explain a little bit better when I get this in. I don't mean to be bumbling here. This is actually easier. It's easier to do it this way where it will fall in. It just fits nicely. So all you have to do is just make sure it's pushed out right to the edge and not folded up in any way. What I'm trying to convey, and I feel like I'm not conveying it very well, is if you cut it out with this one and then you cut out the red border, then what's going to happen is it will sit on top of the old olive. If you cut your first bell out with this one and then put these together and get the border that way, it'll fall down in. I hope that makes sense. The difference is whether you use this or you use this to cut the first cutting of your bell in this old olive. Because whether you cut it this, I mean, these are going to be the same. The red border is. So anyway, that's the slight difference. And I would suggest that you use the outside bell to cut it out with, because then the red border falls right in and it's handy. It's easy. All right. Lord help me. I don't know if I got it clear enough that makes sense. This one we're going to put on the real red. That's 4.5 by 4 by 5.5. 5 1/4. Gracious. Getting old as a bear. Your tongue and your mind don't want to work together sometimes. Okay. All right. I would like for that to go down a little bit further if I can. If being the key here. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. Okay. Get a baby wipe, because inevitably when I pull one up like that, I'm going to get glue on my fingers, and but don't need to get that on the card. These two colors, when you put them together, it kind of surprised me. I wasn't sure whether I was going to like old olive with real red, but it has turned out what I think looks nice. Now, we're going to take this piece and we're going to put it on the outside of the card, and just make sure, like I've said before, that you got it turned right. You don't want it like that. It seems like such a simple thing, but it is so easy to get it turned around the wrong way. Okay. And I promise you that it's easier to balance this as time goes on. I mean, once in a while it just seems like you can't get it right no matter what, but it does get easier with practice. If you're a beginner, let me encourage you. All right. the bell is going to go here. Whoa. Where's my piece across the top? Well, somebody may have had a lapse of memory. So I'll tell you what we're going to do is I'm going to reach over here. I'll get a piece of white. Thought I had everything, but it's quite obvious I don't. So let me cut one of these borders. It'll take but a second. Thankfully, it's right here within reach. And this is what you get when your piece comes off. And I've got a little brush here. I'll just kind of brush it over here to the side. These little brushes are nice though to clean the negative pieces. All you do is like this. I was just trying to keep it off my card. All right. I'll use my picker tool here. Okay. This is the pretty little piece that I thought I had that I didn't have. But you can see it doesn't take but a second to fix it. Well, those may stick. If you've never used a Swiffer around your work area, those are going to stick no matter what it looks like. But anyway. All right, what I did with this one, the first one was cut to 3 3/4. And I had cut that one with my, I had cut the one before with my paper cutter. But I'm going to trim this one with my scissors, because it will obviously be faster than getting that out. And let me see, where's 3 3/4. This little T-ruler is handy to have too. I don't know. That's not something that, it's not something Stampin' Up! Makes available, but they are handy from time to time, as you can see right now. Okay. I'll cut this a little conservatively and then I'll check it out here. No, I did not cut it conservatively. What did I do? Well, folks, you're going to know by the end of this video how human Clara is. And we'll do another one. Simple as that. Please bear with me, as my son would say. Don't mean to be bumbling today like this, but it's happening anyway, isn't it? You know what? I'm not going to redo the video because sometimes I think people appear so perfect that you do not get to see the real person, and you don't get to see that to get a card together sometimes you have to back up and push, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm backing up and pushing. All right. I'll tell you what I will do this time. I'm going to mark it. See, I am going to cut off that frayed end just a tiny bit. Three and 3/4. There's 4. Okay. What's that? I honestly don't know. Pardon me. I know what's wrong. That side is not 3 3/4. I had it in my head that it's 5. Silly me. It goes right up through the middle of this one. Let me tell you what else I did the other day. Along these same lines. The reason I kept thinking 3 3/4 is because normally I work with the vertical. And this is 3 3/4, but this side is 5. And so I was with my husband. Well, my husband wanted me to go and pick him up after he dropped off his 18-wheeler. And we've had an old green 18-wheeler for 15 or 16 years. And he was telling me where the truck was, where I was supposed to come. He had to have it worked on in the shop and for me to come and get him. Well, I followed the directions and I thought, that looks like the shop, but that's a black truck. That's not a green truck, so that can't be him. And then I went down the road a little bit further, not far, and the light went off in my head, and he thought, well, you silly goose. He bought a black truck. His old green truck just completely and totally gave out. And this is not a new truck. It's a used truck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking anything new here. We don't own new. But I realized that what I was doing is I was looking for a green truck, not a black truck. So, you don't find a black truck when you're looking for a green one. And when you're thinking the wrong side, you don't get what you're looking for. So, sorry folks. It happens. And I hope you can bear with me because it'll probably happen again. Anyway, I think I've got that on there now. If I don't get totally flustered here. The reason I'm not going to put an exact measurement, is because there might be some distance between here and what you would normally, if you moved your bell a little bit. So it's just better to measure it best you can when you adhere it, so you'll get the right distance. And I'm going to let it come up like that, I think. And this should be about right then. Okay. Well, let's see if I can get this on right. You'd think I'd never made a card the way I'm going at it today. Okay. All right. Let me see. This black glitter paper is really great for Halloween, and I was trying to think, what could I use, to hang these bells by so that they're not hanging in midair, unattached to anything. And I just cut a really narrow piece of this black glitter paper. I will say this. When you cut it and you come down the side, you could use just regular cardstock for this. You don't have to have the glitter paper. I think I'm going to trim this one off just a tad more. But I wanted to make sure, since it was coming out a minute ago, short. What you want to do is cut one strip that is long enough for both sections. And the reason you want to do that is because when you, if you try to cut it another width, what will happen is one will be a little wider than the other, and that looks a little wonky. So that would be the reason. Okay. All right. All right, there we go. Now, all we have to do is put on the sentiment and these bows. I use glue dots, mini glue dots, to put on my bows with. And if I haven't lost my pick-a tool here, I'll use it to lift them off. And sometimes I'll just go ahead and put one or two to about where I'm going to space it. Okay. And something else that I have learned to do is to take a tape runner, and this works too if you're doing a whole strip of ribbon. Make sure I get the right side. Take your tape runner, I'm gonna move it over a little bit, and it doesn't have to be all the way up to the center of the bow, but put you just a little bit of tape on the back of the tails of the bow. And the reason I do that is it kind of helps you to control where they're going to lay. All right, back to the front of the card. You have to be careful when you put it down that it doesn't stick somewhere you don't want it to, but you can kind of, you know, angle it down a little bit better. If it's got a little tape in it, it'll stay. It'll stay where you put it. And then all you have to do is just press it down. And if you think your bow needs to be puffed up a little bit, you can run something like this up under it, or a pencil, or, you know, whatever you've got that's round or straight that'll go up through the middle of it, and just kind of puff it up a little bit. And that makes it look nice too. All right, let's get the other one done. Well, let me put the glue dots on first so they don't get dry if I haven't lost them. There they are. You wouldn't believe the many times that I sit at this table and absolutely lose what I'm working with and have not moved an inch. My kids tell me it's because I need to clean off my table more. And they're probably right, but I can't make a card either unless I make a mess in the process. Anyway, there we go. I might recover, and we might get a card finished here yet today. I'm going to blame it on going to the dentist today. I know it has absolutely nothing to do with it, but I had to go to the dentist this morning. I had a filling fall out. And the dentist is great. He really tries to be easy and what have you. I have no complaints. But I might have spoke too soon. My mouth was so numb, it was unreal. It took almost 2 hours for the numbing to come out. Like I said, he doesn't want you to hurt. He's a great dentist, and I appreciate that. But boy, my mouth was numb today. Otherwise, I would have probably tried to do this video earlier in the day. All right. We might get a card here yet. All right. Now then, the only thing left is this little sentiment. And what I did do with the sentiment, this just says Merry Christmas, of course. And the sentiment that I used was wishing you a Merry Christmas. I stamped it just like that. Then I cut it apart. And the reason I did that in this particular instance is there just wasn't enough room to put the entire sentiment in between the two bells. And so that's, you know, that's what I was trying to achieve. So I'm going to put this one in first because it's going to be the one that takes up the most space. And all I did was take a pair of scissors and cut it out into little rectangles. There we go. All right. Try to balance it between the two hangers. Balancing everything really is important, I think, because it's just an eye appeal thing, I guess. Put a little bit on the back of this. Okay. Well, don't move on me here, or move in the right direction anyway. Let's see if I've got that. Yeah, I think that's okay. I hope that's appealing to the eye. Let me put it that way. So those are the two cards, but now I'm going to show you about the envelope, just because some people may not have seen it before. I take this piece. You can choose whatever you want to put on the back of your envelope. I usually try to match it to something on the card. Use another piece of DSP. Designer Series paper, in case you have not heard. And it seems so simple that we all get to using these letters as shortcuts. And if you're not in the business and you've not done this before, you don't really know what DSP, what does that stand for? So I try to remember, because it took me a while to figure it out, what that is. All right. Now, as you saw, I put my tape on the wrong side, the side that I was not going to use. And I put a strip here to this edge, one down the middle, and one at each end. Now, do be mindful with this. It makes absolutely no difference, but if you have stripes or you have something else, you may want to pay attention as to what you want that back of the envelope to look like. So pay attention to how you cut your DSP so it'll look good on the back of your envelope. Now, you're going to adhere it to the flap, and it's just easier to put it on this first and then follow that little crease as closely as you can. Let's see. Without going over is the key. And then you can press it down. And then you've got it perfectly on this side. You got a little trimming to do on this side. So just take a pair of scissors. And occasionally what I'll do is clip off each end and then use my paper cutter and go across the bottom. But I'm going to do it all with scissors today. And all this does is it just gives a nice presentation for your card. And if you want to put a little stamp of something on the front, if you've got a small stamp, whatever you might choose, it would be good. Then that works too. That's nice too. Hitchhikers. All right, there's the card. There's the envelope. Maybe. Anyway, and there's the other card that we were aiming for. There again, that completes today's card with all of its hitches and what have you. But I learned a long time ago, it's just better to laugh at yourself and go ahead, because nobody's perfect. And if you think you are, you'll probably find out that you're not. Oh, again, I ask you, please push the subscribe button. If you're interested in stamping, check out my website and take a look at the catalogs and what have you. And if you have any questions about, what I've done or not done, please just just go to contact me on my webpage, and I will check them and I will answer it. I will do my best, and if I don't know, I'll certainly find somebody that does. So if there's any way that I can help you, I'd be more than happy to do it. If you need a product, I would be very pleased to have you as a customer. And if you ever want to become a demonstrator, celebration is always the best time to start because you get a free gift. This year, for celebration, you're buying $99. You're paying $99. You get $125 worth of product of your choice. You don't have to take what Stampin' Up! Wants to send you. They will allow you to choose from one of 12 different bundles, not just the stamp set, but the dies too, the bundle. And they've got 12 that they have chosen out of the mini catalog, so there's some really good choices there. Some of them are worth $40, some of them are worth $60-ish. So, it's just up to you what you like and what you want. And then there's some benefits if you host a party or, have, you can purchase host products more cheaply, like for $10 or something like that. And, I can't tell you about everything, but all that information is on my website. And anybody that places a $50 order with me may choose a $10 gift, and that's my way of saying thank you. You just have to let me know what you would like when you place your order, and I will get it over to you. So don't forget that, that really makes a $50 purchase. You get an item from the Celebration catalog plus $10. So that, that's kind of an extra little perk. So anyway, I've blabbed long enough, I think, today. So I appreciate your time. I hope you have a marvelous week, and I will be back real soon to talk with you again. Thank you so very much.